Hi, dear viewers. It's time for an art update, and I haven't done one of these in several months now, and I got a lot on my plate, and I just felt like this would be an interesting avenue to talk about it. Today I'm working on this painting I started yesterday of a female cardinal that I saw in our backyard, and apparently cardinals are said to represent the spirit of someone you love. And God, that could someone who's no longer with us, I mean to say. And I that's a lot of people that could pertain to, at least in my life. But have you had one of those days where you feel like you have the weight of the, like, something important you need to say? Not important, but it's a lot going on, and you don't know where to say it or how to say it, so you want to put it out there somewhere. That's what this is right now. And I think the place, and this will just be me rambling. I like rambling. Not a lot of people might listen to this, but just ramble. One thing I've noticed a lot is backlash to certain things, especially when it comes to the idea of an agenda. I've seen plenty of videos on it, and personally speaking, I think after so long you hear this idea of, oh, there's like a secret truth or a hidden agenda behind something, you start to get a little tired of it. I mean, at least I have. I'm tired of all these secret agendas and all that stuff. Quite frankly, when it comes to, especially in entertainment, I know a lot of people don't really open well to agendas being put in their in entertainment, but whether we like it or not, it's there. It will always be there. We had it back in the 50s, Cold War propaganda. We had propaganda against the Beatles were kind of anti-counterculture to the war movement, or at least that whole era was. And so what's going on today is certainly nothing new. I think it's now I think the problem is that people are so used to getting something that they want that anything that is different kind of upsets them. The biggest thing lately I've noticed would be the CW show the new CW show Batwoman. I've seen plenty of people hating on the show, and I understand why they hate it, or I can see their viewpoint at least, but at this point, I'm just looking to be entertained. I don't want to hate something usually off the bat just for it existing. I said usually. because we're all inherently biased towards something, and I've wanted to talk about Batwoman for quite some time. You know, a lot of people have strong opinions about things, this social justice movement, and we can really divide ourselves over such things. But I don't look for that anymore. I try not to care about that anymore. What happens will happen. As long as I'm entertained in a good way, I don't see a problem. And I'll say that Batwoman is an entertaining show. At least the first episode has been. I haven't watched the second one yet. And it always... I consider SJW to be like almost a swear word now. It's a word, or I know it's not a word, it's an abbreviation, or like the initials, I guess, but it's gotten to a point where I'm just sick of it, you know. I feel that if you like something, then you should be allowed to like it as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. You know, there are these people who actively go out and they are like, "Oh no, this is political. This is," and I just want them to shut up. You're not helping anything. You're not helping anyone. If anything, you're dividing it. You're dividing people. Now, I'm not one to talk. I've done my rambling against, say, Disney for quite some time, and yeah, I could safely say that that's my bias. But here's what I feel is different. Like the difference. I try to understand the appeal of both sides of an argument. That way, I could become somewhat of a mediator, or someone who can be the best of both worlds, you know? Someone who can reason. That's something that's lacking nowadays, I feel. Reason. You know, people nowadays jump to so many conclusions when that isn't the case. I feel that way, at least. We look at one tweet on Twitter or one message on Facebook or an update status, and suddenly everyone loses it. We read into things that aren't necessarily there. We're jumping at shadows, as it were, you know. And I look at these messages and I'm like, people are getting upset over this? People get upset over these little things? I mean, granted, they might not be that big to me, but I try to approach things as civil as possible. At least, like I say, I try. I'm only human. And I'm making this sort of like as a message to everyone, you know. It doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, if you're pro or anti-Trump, Marvel or DC, CW or anti-CW or MCU fan. I don't care. As long as people hear this. I think nowadays, we've lost track of what makes us great. It's not a matter, because in the past I felt like we could have conversations. We could have people who talk about, hey, why do you feel this way? Well, let me tell you why I don't like this or this and this. Back in 2016, when the election was roaring on, uh, one of my friends on Facebook was posting stuff about a certain political candidate. I'll just say Donald Trump, and I'm not going to reveal this individual's name. Well, actually, multiple, but this one in particular. And I don't know if this was just my ignorance because I've been raised in a conservative household, but I want to know why somebody did not like this guy. Um, because, again, I've only listened to like conservative outlets. I didn't know what other people thought. And I asked him, hey, what do you have against Trump? What makes you so angry about him? And I was hoping to at least get some kind of answer. And I got one. I didn't get a reason. I didn't get a why. I basically got something akin to, you know what he did, fuck you for not knowing, and fuck him as well. And that really took me back a little because part of me didn't really know because, I mean, this was 3 years ago. I can't exactly remember what I was thinking when I post stuff or ask stuff on a social media platform. And I just, that caught me off guard. You know, you don't expect people to lash out at you usually that much. And it was kind of right then and there I realized how passionate people could truly be. You know, people are fanatical, both sides of the aisle, all walks of life. We can be pretty hardcore when it comes to things we're passionate about. And maybe he has a legitimate reason for hating Trump, but, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I just wish I knew. And you start seeing parts of life or of people that you really didn't want to see. But even when you see these new sides of a person being revealed to you, you never you kind of want to know why they think the way they do. Because I love having a discussion. I love having a conversation. I We're social by nature, and I feel there's so much we could learn from one another, but we refuse to listen. I feel like this next statement might become a bit of a turnoff for some of you or whoever watched this, but watching Batwoman and Supergirl, I don't mind the shows. I don't mind the politicalness of it. I'm not saying I'm a liberal, but I'm okay with it. I can understand where they're coming with it. I wish it wasn't as shoved in your face, as it were. But you know, it is what it is. People can be so hurtful, so cruel to projects or to people. Something that people have put a lot of time, effort, and their passion into, and just rip it apart. And as an artist, I mean, that is just one of the most painful things. You know, just to watch people take what you do out of context and suddenly throw it all over the place, you know? And now it kind of is like the Joker movie. I think a lot of people are talking about this movie in a sense that, oh, there's a agenda going on about it, and people don't want it to succeed because of gun violence. Well, maybe just people don't like the movie. I mean, I'm sure there are really subjective people. There are both those subjective and objective re- reviews of the movie. People who give it that fair and honest review, whereas others just they let their bias get into it. And yeah, I've let my bias get into my thoughts as well, or how I react to something. But I still try and hold myself to a standard. I'm looking at you, Bob Chipman. Uh, but when you look at a movie like Joker, it's people are people have a right to critique it however they want to, but at least make it, or I won't say at least make it, but I hope at least they have a good reason, and not just for the sake of hate or for demonizing it. Because if people just do like demonize something for the sake of demonizing it because it conflicts with what they like or what they believe in, we're not really going to get far in life because we're all going to have to put up with shit that we don't like. I work retail. I've had to put up with people I really don't care for, but that's life. Same can be said about Batwoman. A lot of the audience might not like it, but there's still people out there who enjoy it, and I'm I try not to be that person to say, okay, you cannot like this. Of course, somebody can like it, whatever they want. Uh, that's what makes us human. That's what makes us personal. You know, the world would be a dull place if everything or everyone agreed with what another person said. I know I'd be bored as hell. I love debating people on Disney or Marvel. I might say that, oh, Marvel is getting dull and boring, and just their reprise, I like to see where they stand. I'm not going to demonize them and say, you cannot like this. I'll say, this is why I don't like it, and here's my viewpoint. I think this painting's coming on pretty well. Um, that will be the rock or the cardinal. All this is foliage. The yellow is pretty much the background because I took this picture and a picture of this yesterday outside my house or in my backyard, and there's a cardinal back there. I took several pictures. I love art. You see, I think a lot of people forget what having an opinion is like a work of art. It's it's your own interpretation of something. There's no wrong way to really perceive something unless you're going in the whole different direction. But even then, that's what makes it unique. You might disagree with that, but who are we to judge? We've all been, we've all had our opinions on something that the mainstream might not particularly care for, but that's what makes us human. These are the type of thoughts, that come to me when I do painting or when I'm at work. Get a lot of time to think about stuff. You get a lot of time. Maybe too much. Too much time to keep to yourself. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Trying to make sure I don't touch the wet paint. I hope that one day, maybe some people will watch these videos and maybe not necessarily change their outlook, but give it a chance. Because the more we demonize stuff, the more likely it's going to be made just out of spite. I think that's one of the reasons why Trump got elected is he was so many people just up and spite him. Just they went after not only him, his family, but his supporters, calling them every name in the book. And people can be like children. That if you insult or if you talk negatively about somebody, they're not going to act the way you want them to. They're not going to take it nicely. And if you hit somebody for far too long, they're going to stand up and they're going to hit you back. I don't know if that's what happened or what, but maybe I'll discuss that in a future video if I ever do another one. It's nice talking, having the house to myself. I think it's getting there. I post all my stuff on Twitter. Where I see a lot of the most interesting yet horrifying aspects of people, their opinions. Not saying that opinions are bad, but how they express them. You're not doing us or yourselves any favors. Sure, you might get a few people to align yourself that might align themselves with you, but in the long run, it just shows the world the type of person you are. That's why when it comes to politics, I'm just independent. I don't want to be dictated by one particular thought. I think that might be it for this video, but if you think I should make more videos where I just talk about stuff, please let me know. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching and listening to my rambling. Have a good day.